These are the best investments to make in GT Online as a solo player in 2025. There are a lot of items that you can buy, also a lot of things that are a waste of your money. Hopefully this guide will help you out. We will start with an apartment. This will grant you a safe place to stay, a spawn location, a garage, and if you buy a high-end apartment with the cheapest one being a little over $200,000, you can start heists. Every player needs an armored vehicle in GT Online. A good starter vehicle is the armored Kuruma. You can buy it for a little under $700,000, however you will be able to buy it for $525,000 if you complete the first apartment heist, which is the Flisa job. If you want a free option, you can go with the Duco Det. It's a pretty good armored car, it can survive one rocket before it blows up, and like I said, it's completely free. If you have more money to spend, you should definitely buy the Night Shark, coming in at $1,245,000. This is the best armored vehicle in the game. It can take up to 26 homing missiles or 8 RPGs before it explodes. It's also a fast car with good overall performance. Now that you have an apartment and car to protect you, we need something that protects you when you're on foot. That's where the bulletproof helmets come in handy. You can just buy them at the clothing store or mask store if you go to the head section. They are all around $20,000, so that's fairly cheap, and this helmet isn't literally bulletproof, but it can help you survive a couple more bullets to the head. This doesn't help you survive shots for any different body part. In order to protect the rest of your body, you have to buy armor at the ammunition. Now that we are at the ammunition, I will quickly go over some of the best weapons that you should buy. I will also leave an in-depth weapon loadout video in the pinned comment. A must-have is the Up Atomizer. They removed it from the ammunition and agency armory, so now you can only buy it when it's in the gun van. This is a very unique weapon and it can come in very handy in a few scenarios. If you can't get over a wall or fence for example, or if your car is stuck, and you can even use it to kill players. I always like to use it as a combination, so I shoot someone with the Up Atomizer and then I quickly switch to one of my other weapons to finish it off. A newer gun that got added to GT Online is the Railgun. It has always been an amazing weapon in story mode and it's no surprise that it's popular in online too. This gun is really good against jets, helicopters and oppressors. Keep in mind that against a more armored helicopter it will take 3 shots to destroy it and a jet about 2. One of the best properties in the game is the agency. That's because it has a lot of helpful features and this should be one of your first big investments. Specifically the Dr. Dre contract, which can be accessed by having an agency and completing one security contract. The Dr. Dre contract acts like a massive heist where you have 3 mini heists and then 2 finale missions, with the payout being $1 million. At the end of it all, you will end up making about $1.1 to $1.2 million for all the setups plus the finale, and it will only take about an hour and a half to 2 hours to complete. Meaning that you're making about $650,000 every hour, and that's why it's number 3 on the list. Because you have to get the agency in order to do it, that also means that you have access to doing things like security contracts, passive income through the wall safe and payphone it, so those are the other ways to make money with the agency. To get a lot of passive income out of this one, you will need to grind a lot. So you can find the safe in here, and mine is empty unfortunately. That's because I never played any contract missions. If you didn't complete any contract missions, you will only get 1k every 48 minutes. I did play a lot of contract missions on my other account, and here you can see that I have 44k. I got this in like 3 or 4 in-game days. So what you will need to do to increase your passive income is sit down in a chair, log in, and then go to one of these security contracts. You have different levels as in difficulty, and each one gives you different payout depending on the level. So just choose the contract that pays the most. These missions are not that hard and you can even do them in an invite only session. So to max out your passive income for the agency, you will need to play 200 security contracts. I know that's a lot, you don't have to max it out, but I think that each 10 that you play increases your save money. If you play 200 of these contract missions, you will get 20k every 48 minutes, so every in-game day. That's quite a lot, but like I said, you will need to play 200 missions first. By playing 200 missions, your save capacity will also increase to 250k. Another feature inside the agency is the Amani Tech workshop. In this workshop you can upgrade certain vehicles with Amani Tech. As of today, there are a lot of vehicles that can get these upgrades. The Amani Tech upgrades are as follows. First we have the lock-on missile jammer, which prevents players to lock on your vehicle with homing missiles, which is really helpful. Then you have the remote control unit, which pretty much allows you to control your car from a distance without anyone being inside the car. Even better, your character won't be on the map, so you can't get killed. However, you can only get one of these, so anti-lock-on or remote control unit. Then you have armor plating, making your car more armored of course, and lastly slick proximity mines. You can drop these mines, and if someone drives over them, their car will slip over the oil. The best way to make money in GTA Online is the Puerto Rico heist. In order to start it, you need to own a Kosatka, aka the submarine. This is probably the best investment in GTA Online, cause after completing the heist twice you should already make your money back. I will also leave a complete guide for the Puerto Rico heist in the pinned comment. Moonpool vehicles, one of those vehicles is the Sparrow, which you should definitely buy. It's really helpful when you are doing the Puerto Rico heist setups, but you can also use it outside of the Puerto Rico heist. You can request it through your interaction menu at any time and it will spawn next to you. It's one of the fastest helicopters in the game with great handling and you can shoot the homing missiles back to back. This kinda has something to do with the submarine and that is a scuba suit. It's only around 150k at the clothing store and this will help you swim way faster underwater. It also comes with the scuba gear of course, giving you unlimited air underwater. It's a great investment cause if you save this outfit you can then equip it anytime that you need it to swim underwater. For example, in one of the missions from the garment factory you have to search for a package underwater. If you then equip the scuba outfit that you saved you can get to it way quicker. If you want to be even faster underwater you can buy a vehicle, the Toreador. It's one of the more expensive vehicles but you also get a lot back for the price, $4,250,000. It's a car that can drive on land and go underwater. It's the most versatile vehicle in GTA Online. You can also store it in your Kosatka, so all these investments are also connected to each other. It has unlimited homing missiles and these are still the OG missiles, so not the nerfed ones. They are really accurate and you can even shoot them underwater. On top of all that, it also has a boost that recharges every 5 seconds or so. It's a 4-seater so you can pick up your whole crew in this car and it also has semi-bulletproof glass. One of the fastest vehicles on land is a bike, the Akuchu Drag, coming in at a little under $1 million. You do also have to buy HSW upgrades to make it the fastest bike. It's perfect to use for time trials. You can easily complete both the HSW time trial and normal time trial every week. That way you will easily make all the money back that you spent on this bike. The HSW time trial pays out $250,000 and the normal one $100,000. The Vigilante, which is pretty much the Batmobile, is a great vehicle. The price is $3,750,000 on the Warstock website. This is one of the only weaponized vehicles that you can use in missions, for example the Clucking Bell Farm Raid. You cannot use an Oppressor or any vehicles like that, but you can use the Vigilante. It has a boost and rockets. That makes it way easier to complete, and if you complete the Clucking Bell heist about 8 times you will make all the money back. The only downside with this vehicle is that it can get destroyed with only one explosion. A must-have for every single player in GTA Online is the Oppressor Mark II. Although they nerfed it a couple times, it's still one of the best vehicles in the game. Especially for grinding, cause it gets you from A to B fast, it has rockets so you can attack and defend yourself as well as a boost. Because it's a bike, it's also really easy to park anywhere, even in tight spaces. With a helicopter or the Deluxo for example, you won't be able to do that. The only downside with the Oppressor Mark II is that you have to make quite some big investments and spend a lot of money in order to fully max it out. First you need to buy a Nightclub for around $1 million. You can also buy the Garment Factory instead. We need one of those two businesses in order to buy a Terabyte, which is $1,375,000. I highly recommend buying a Nightclub cause it's the best passive income business in GTA Online and it's just an overall better business than the Garment Factory. Once you have those two things, you still have to buy the Oppressor Mark II, which is the most expensive vehicle in GTA Online, if you don't count the Gold Jet at least. They increased the price to $8 million. You can drop the price to $6 million by completing 5 client jobs from the Terabyte. So at this point you have already spent around $10 million. Then you still have to upgrade the Oppressor Mark II in your Terabyte. That's because the stock version doesn't come with rockets, only with miniguns. So you have to also buy the homing missiles for another couple $100k, and I also recommend getting Chaff. When you enable Chaff, other players won't be able to lock onto you for about 5 to 10 seconds. The Oppressor Mark II only has 20 homing missiles, the homing missiles are nerfed and it has a 5-minute cooldown if you want to request it. For me it's still one of the top 3 best investments in GTA Online. We already talked about the Nightclub so that we could buy a Terabyte and Oppressor Mark II. I will now quickly explain how this business works so that you can make both active and passive income with it. There's 2 ways to make money with it, with the first one being through the Nightclub wall save. This is a save that has a set amount of money deposited into it every in-game day or 48 minutes IRL, depending on how popular your Nightclub is. There are a few different ways to increase the popularity of the Nightclub, but the 2 best are to throw out disturbances in the Nightclub, which will pop up as a blue dot on your minimap, or to change DJs. When you change the DJ of your Nightclub, your popularity will increase. The second way to make money is a little bit more complicated, but it's the bread and butter of the business, and that is through the warehouse. The warehouse is a section where you are able to hire and assign technicians to source products. When they source that product, it will then build up in a warehouse, and whenever you want, you can sell that product for a profit. Now, in order to make the most amount of money with it, you will want to of course hire all 5 technicians, which will cost a decent amount of money, and you will want to assign them to 5 specific type of products. But there's one catch for the warehouse, and that is if you want to assign a technician to source a specific kind of product, you will have to own a corresponding business in the game. So with that being said, here are the 5 types of products that make you the most amount of money and a corresponding business you will need to own. First, assign a technician to cargo and shipments. You will need a CEO hangar or a CEO cargo crate warehouse in order to do so. Next, assign one to sporting goods, which you will need a bunker for. Third is South American imports, which you will need a Coca-Cola lockup. Fourth being pharmaceutical research, which we will need a blue stuff lab for. And fifth is cash creation, which you will need a counterfeit cash factory for. If you assign a technician to each one of those products and make sure that you have the equipment upgrade, you will earn about $50,000 total in warehouse stock each hour. Now, the best part of the warehouse is that once you have done that and set it up, you don't have to do anything else except for the final sell mission whenever you decide to sell. All you have to do once you assign those technicians to those products is to just be in a session. So if you combine those 2 sections of the nightclub, you will be making $100,000 in almost completely passive income every single hour, which is the main reason why it's number 5 on the list. But the only reason why it's not higher is because in order to run the warehouse side of the business, you will need to own 5 other separate businesses, which will end up costing you close to the $10 million. The next investment that I highly recommend is the Asset Lab. The way the business works is you either steal or purchase supplies. You bring them back to the lab, and then after some time those supplies are turned into product, which you could then sell on for a profit. In order to purchase the Asset Lab, you have to first do the first dose mission storyline. There's 6 in total. Once you have done that, you can then purchase the business for $750,000. Now, in order to make the most amount of money with the business, you have to get the equipment upgraded for $250,000, but first you have to unlock it. The way to do that is by completing 10 fully gun missions. You can start them if you go to Dex inside the Freak Shop or call him and select a fully gun mission. Once you have done that, you can then call up Mats or talk to him at the Asset Lab. Purchase supplies for $60,000, and after 1.6 batches of supplies you have a fully stocked Asset Lab, which you could then sell on for $335,000. If you decide to do that, you will be making about $60,000 to $70,000 per hour in profit, but if you want to make some extra money, you can sell in a public lobby. If it's a session with 25 or more players, that will give you a 50% high demand bonus. I believe that every player gives a 2% bonus, and it's capped at 50%, which means that the highest bonus is in a 25 players public lobby. To get an extra 5% bonus, rename your Asset Lab. You can do that through your interaction menu. That will bring it up to $500,000 as your final sale, and this is completely doable because you're only ever guaranteed one sell vehicle. If you choose to go that route, you will be making about $100,000 per hour. That's the way I suggest to do it, and that's the reason why it's in the number 7 spot. It's a fairly passive business and it earns you about $100,000 per hour, which is really good. So hopefully this video helped you guys out, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye bye.